Good evening, it is Matt Rogers, and thank you for joining this channel, NIBIRU Sky Observations. Please subscribe to this channel. It is very important as we continue the hard work by pointing the telescope to many parts of the night sky, picking up huge objects, asteroids, space debris, other phenomena, interstellar, or even some kind of phenomena of a dark star, Nemesis, the destroyer, Hercules. Now, to start this broadcast off, I'd like to suggest that what I'm going to say is that all of us in our community know exactly what we're talking about. But there's a few people that have reached out to us that would like to join the community, and I completely respect this. And thank you for subscribing. They state for a couple of messages that, Matt, what is Planet X? Now, before I start to show you some very interesting pictures on this video, I like to state out to those new people that have come forward that Hercules is a massive celestial body with an orbit that intersects our own solar system, passing in closely a proximity to the Sun and the Earth. Since the celestial objects seems to fit the profile, several names given to common celestial bodies. It's important to make this connection at the beginning. The most common names are indeed Planet X, NIBIRU, the Red Planet, the Brown Dwarf, and Hercules. It seems that the body of research related to the massive planet with this intersecting course to our solar system has started to point out to the same celestial body and all the stars in that solar system. Because indeed, this heavenly body that is on this long course heading back towards our solar system on this 3,600-year orbit, Hercules, does indeed cause a lot of catastrophes. Now, when picking up these incredible captures, sometimes there is no sighting of stars. Other photography as well, to other points of view as well. In the solar system, we see many stars. So what we're picturing here is Jupiter and the moons. Now, indeed, we could pick up some amazing captures, folks. Picking up the known heavenly bodies. Very close images of the moon. But what we're noticing here is Jupiter with its moons. Just another very interesting capture. And we will continue to show these captures as well, just to continue that those objects are out there in our solar system. And also, speaking of Planet X, NIBIRU, the Frightener, Hercules, that causes a great catastrophe in our solar system, that also causes catastrophes to other known heavenly bodies. They also explain that this heavenly body NIBIRU is a very similar size than indeed Jupiter, and Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system. Now, this particular picture was captured 2 days ago. This is a very unknown heavenly object picked up with the telescope. Indeed, we all know the known heavenly bodies in our solar system, but this object just stood out. It's bigger than Jupiter. What is it doing there as well? Very close to the asteroid belt. Now, NIBIRU Planet X, this mini solar system, Nemesis the destroyer, the brown dwarf star that carries these other known name heavenly bodies in the solar system, especially Harrington, that was again named after Dr. Robert Harrington, the chief astronomer that owned IRAS, the telescope. Now, indeed, this particular image, which I've spoken about with other researchers a long time ago, then indeed it could be Helion in the mini constellation. I mean, you can see the characteristics that there is smaller objects in front of this object. Are we seeing moons? Multiple moons. And there's a huge object just to the right hand side of this large celestial body in space, folks. Again, are we just seeing an apparition on the screen? But then going back to it, 15 hours later, to pick up the object, it's still there, folks. We need to know what's going on because each and every year, just like Sedna in our solar system, back in 1998 to 1995, those planets, again, were also reported to be in our solar system, which we never knew before, even in 2005, folks. It continues, doesn't it? Heavenly bodies that start to show up, and also in the scientific community, they speak about these. Okay, by zooming in, just getting closer to seeing, noticing these moons, these objects in front of this huge planet. I mean, it's far too big to be Pluto in the outer reaches of our solar system. It's far too big to be any known other heavenly body. I mean, this object is in space. By far, the characteristics are very, very interesting indeed. I'm just doing this raw edit so you can pick up and see the images as we go through the different weeks and different days. Because anything again, folks, that I see differently, I will pick up and show it to the community. Okay, what I'm showing you is something I used of a camcorder. Now, I took this particular picture in September of 2003. Now, this isn't in space, folks. This formation, this object, is in our atmosphere. Okay, many thousands of feet high, of some kind of phenomena of an object that is moving through our skies at a very high altitude. What could this be? I mean, you can see the colors and formations. There is other objects just to these sides. And look at this red, or this space debris or trash or something coming from out of the atmosphere into the atmosphere. Are we seeing an asteroid? I mean, this is very, very fascinating to see the size and the formation. Let me just move in to notice this. I'm just going to show you is it the front or are we seeing something else? I mean, look at this area here. If I just move you can see the line appearing and all this. I mean, this is moving through space, but again, it's coming in from space into our atmosphere. There was no noise, nothing whatsoever. Just some kind of object. Again, it looked quite very worrying as well because it was moving very fast through the skies at night on a clear night and then just disappeared northeast of the horizon. I mean, again, please send a message. What do you think this is? It's very, 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 very impressive of a space object. Indeed, this picture came into me as well this morning by a very kind lady that lives in Salisbury in Wiltshire in the United Kingdom, Sandra Harris. She has been an astronomer and also followed all the different channels and is very impressive with other people's channels as well that work very hard in our community. And indeed, a Planet X researcher explaining through the horizon in the backyard by pointing the telescope and also the camera. Even mobile phone technology is very, very important because we pick up many pictures. But something appearing as iron oxide, early hours of the morning. Let me just move the photograph. You can see just at the top of the photograph the stars or space debris, but you can noticeably see that this red refraction of light, it does look like a streak of iron oxide that is appearing to head down towards the horizon. But look at the sunlight, folks. Can you just start to see the apparition of the sunlight just appearing down below the horizon, early hours of the morning, and something appearing. But notice as well that this red refraction of light, when you see this very carefully, let me just zoom in for you, it disappears behind the sunlight. So noticeably again, we see the lower end of the horizon at night time, but this red refraction of light disappears. Now, if this object was in front of the sun, we would see the red refraction of light just below. But it seems to be, again, as I just stated, with the stars, that this object, this huge celestial body, moving to this coordination through space behind the backside of the sun, showing up. Could this again be Planet X, Nibiru, the tail of the dragon? Another impressive photograph. I just thought I would show you these as these came through this morning to see these impressive pictures. I mean, we'll always go out at night time and point the telescope to other formations and objects. That is very impressive. Thank you so much for sending this in to us. Okay, now there's been many reports across the world of seeing these strange apparitions through the daytime and nighttime skies, strange glowing orbs, and they've been seen for a long time now. And indeed, I spoke about seeing these orbs in 2016 moving across the skies. Now, again, I was in my backyard and I was looking towards the heavens, and I felt like a presence that somebody was watching me. This is actually true, folks. I'm telling you that this happened. All of it happened. And indeed, when I was out there, and all of a sudden, it was time to go indoors, and all of a sudden, I started to see these apparitions. There's about 6 of them, hiding behind cloud systems. And they started to glow once I moved, and then just move off to the right side of the cloud systems into space. It was as if they were watching me, folks. Again, are these orbs? Are they spiritual? Are these angels? I mean, again, we don't know what they are, but they do move across the skies, and there is quite a few of them that move together, synchronizing across the skies, folks. I mean, what are they? Please, again, send in your message. Have you ever experienced this phenomena yourself as well, for wherever you live across the world? These objects are real. They show up as well. Or are we seeing Project Bluebeam? Are they something from the government, or are we seeing something that is, again, very spiritual? Something, again, that's watching us. Guardian angels or something else? Are we seeing something demonic? Please, again, send in your messages. It's important of what we're viewing, because, again, multiple people are sending in images and pictures and talking about these glowing orbs. Okay, now at the start of the video, when we showed photography as well of Jupiter and the moons in our solar system, and speaking of other people, when they say how far away when you're seeing these objects in astronomical units do you think you are noticing these objects? But again, folks, when maxing out the telescope, these objects must be further out to the further reaches of our solar system, out towards the universe. And again, indeed, when you think about it, logically, zooming not so far away will pick up objects, but you know it could be easily space debris or some kind of natural phenomena from satellites or something like that. But when you pick up an object just like this on the screen, when I spoke about Jupiter, it is quite easy to find Jupiter, certain parts of different months as well, clearer shots or even not so clear shots, but Jupiter is up there with other known heavenly bodies. But indeed, I captured this object. It is not Mars, folks. I can easily pick up Mars. This formation, indeed, looks like a red planet. And it's further out than Uranus. You can see other objects to either side of the space body. I don't know what it is, but I could only get it as clear as what we're seeing it now on the on this video. This could be something of interest, folks, because indeed, when I went back to it some years ago, it was much smaller in size, right about to one of these objects, but it's grown in size. Again, it could just be natural phenomena from the lenses of the camera, but indeed, when picking up things of interest, I can say now that that object was showing up on the screen, folks. Do we have wandering planets moving across the vastness of space? Just moving swiftly across past our solar system. Does this happen, this phenomena? This is a very interesting capture. This next picture was taken 2 weeks ago, and it was taken around about 3 a.m. Very clear early hours of morning skies. And I noticed a smaller star object, even to the right hand side of where we see the smaller object to this side. So we're seeing two space bodies. Folks, when people look up, they notice these objects all the time. But again, when the refraction of light from the sun beams up and shows up on the bodies, you will pick them up, but people will think they are just stars. They look like stars, just moving very softly and slowly across the night skies. This is what they do, folks. But when zooming in, you can see the incredible capture that indeed it is an asteroid. It looks like an asteroid, folks. Two asteroids. Let me just zoom into the formation to show you this. Huge space rock. Tumbling through space, folks. Let me just get it to that point so you can see it much more clearly. There is two of them. Let me just move into the second image. You can see clearly as well. There's a dark collaboration as well, this formation. But indeed, you can notice it as being space rocks. When we pick up other entities and formations in space that look very, very unusual, like ships, interstellar, you can see the formation and the colors so differently. But this object, I mean, again, I do not know in astronomical terms or even the width or the length of this heavenly body. But I can tell you now, the smaller space rocks are being reported by the media. But these objects, are they being reported? These are larger space bodies, folks. And I mean, I read a report some time ago as well. We have read the report as well. And it was all about the Space Administration. What they were trying to do was send satellites to these space bodies. And indeed, what they were going to do was try and paint these asteroids. Now, I know that is quite shocking to hear, but they were going to try and paint them with special white paint. Send a satellite to land on these asteroids and paint half of the asteroid so the sun could deflect light onto the asteroid to slowly push it away from the direction to the keyholes of the Earth, to stop it from hitting through the keyhole and landing on Earth of the size of a space rock like this. It would cause a great catastrophe, folks. If it hit the sea, we'd be all in trouble. Because half of the United States, or the coastlines, they would, all them $1 million houses, all on the front of those coastlines, all enjoying a night in watching the television, and all of a sudden, this space intruder gets through the keyhole, lands into the oceans, the Pacific Ocean, and then all of a sudden, all them beautiful mansions, $1 million mansions, just crumble up into the sea, and then they just get pushed back into the land and then pushed out to sea again. See, painting asteroids with smaller satellites to try and deflect the asteroid, to move it away from Earth, because the light refraction from the sun will try and, or they're trying to use that to alter its course, its path, to moving it away from Mother Earth. Another thing as well, folks, there's been an upbeat in space debris, near-Earth objects. That's what they call them as well in the scientific community, if they're dangerous. And the thing is, are they doing this? I mean, what is going on with that? Because, again, it's all gone silent. The media's gone silent with that information. But I can tell you now, with the photography, this photograph is virtually brand new, folks. I mean, what kind of size are we seeing here? Okay, now I left this photograph as it was. I wasn't going to enhance the photography as well, because naturally asteroids, when we see the ones just like we saw in the other photograph, they're the natural colour. But I was able to pick up some colour formations, just like the planets we see on this video as well and other videos. The colours, like that red heavenly body with smaller planets surrounding it, which is unknown in our solar system but further out. But this object again looks like a huge asteroid. Now, what we notice of the colour of Mars, of the incredible red colours, and again iron oxide. But what are we seeing here? This indeed looks like a huge asteroid in space, but there is other formations as well that was captured. Other chunks of rock, very similar colour, moving across space, folks. What kind of object does these asteroids come off, or even come from? Where have they come from? I mean, again, something is showing up. I mean, that is an incredible capture. You can see the details of this space anomaly, this entity. Or are we just seeing a camera fraction? Again, a glitch in the camera. Just another amazing picture that needs to be seen. See, I must thank my wife really, because she paid out a lot of money for that telescope, and I appreciate her for doing so as well, because she knows I have a big interest in space. And even my daughter as well has a big interest in space. So we both look up towards the heavens, and the captures are very interesting. I mean, this is a picture my daughter took as well of one of those space objects. I mean, with the technology now, folks, okay, for these years alone, is absolutely amazing. The quality of these lenses that you can collect and also purchase is totally outstanding. You can get upgraded lenses from the normal lenses that you get with the telescope. And again, it's so much more enhanced. You're able to light up them asteroids. You're able to notice the diaphragm and also the dynamics of the asteroid in space. I mean, look at this formation, folks. If you think about it, everybody just at home enjoying their New Year's Eve, and all of a sudden this space body, this space object, just floating around in space, just above the Earth. Again, I do not know the size of this formation, but can tell you now, this is huge. This is a huge body. Let me just zoom into the object to see the dynamics. I mean, is it an asteroid? I mean, again, you can see the shape and formation. It's incredibly strange. I mean, my daughter again spoke about the lines. That looks different. It looks like it's come off something. Or is it space debris again? There's a lot of space debris up there, folks. I mean, could this cause danger to the International Space Station, the ISS? Could this cause problems towards infrastructure with satellites up there as well, above the Earth's atmosphere, way out there in space? I mean, thousands of miles high, but this object is further deeper in space. But they do come close as a flyby. Very strange capture indeed as well. Okay, before we go, I'd like to show you this particular picture as well. What we did was we pointed towards the moon. We recorded the moon for at least 12 hours. And then with this telescope, it picks up information of any sort of interference or something of a piece of footage or something walking in front of a camera. Just works like a CCT camera. And indeed, at one point, it showed a piece of footage that we went back to, even at a split second, folks, of these strange orbs or casting formations just showing up as well across the moon. Now, the thing is, what took our interest was that indeed you can see a casting shadow to this area here of the particular picture. Now, indeed, we can see this longer formation and smaller objects as well. There's quite a few of them as well, aren't there, just above the lunar surface. But what gave it away? That it couldn't be birds or some kind of manned craft just up there again in the night sky towards illumination of the moon, which has been picked up before. But noticeably, when you see this, you can see casting shadows on the lunar surface as these objects are moving past. Are these objects causing this shadow, this darkness, just like when we are walking down a street, or we can see our shadow or shadows? And indeed, these objects are causing a shadow as they are moving just above the lunar surface. What are these objects? I mean, again, the capture is amazing because it was only taken a split second when we saw the formations and disappeared. Incredible captures. So indeed, thank you for watching this broadcast, folks. Because any other pictures that we pick up of interest of strange entity formations, we will show on the screen. I'd like to state as well thank you for subscribing to our channel at NIBIRU Sky Observations. It is so important. I'm going to come back to you tomorrow with another video, so please keep your eyes to the skies from Matt Rogers.